Happy Tuesday. Welcome back to Real Talk with Cari and myself. We're excited to continue our conversation from last week, right, Cari?
Yeah, we're super excited. We got some good feedback from you guys. I think it's always nice to remind ourselves at the end of the year how we can reflect on what our business has been like, and then what questions we can ask ourselves to make sure that we are moving in the right direction for the new year. So hopefully it helped you kind of niche down and realize, like, who are your ideal clients? What do you have to offer? How do you bring value to people? Where do you find them? And the hope is that you guys went forth and really did some good reflection, which I know some of you did because you gave us some feedback. So thank you for doing that. So we're going to talk a little bit about a few more things that I think are really the same idea, which is to make sure that you are continuing to ask yourself the right questions and planning for the new year in a way that is going to help you to just be really authentic to yourself and your business. And, you know, we hear the word value proposition all the time. In fact, people tell you all the time, right, Haley? Hey, what is your value proposition? Make sure you write it down. What are your core values? And I think we get used to that word a lot, but I think that it's important to even ask yourself more qualifying questions around this, because again, you need to actually think about the unique value you personally bring to your ideal client and the market. And that's where those first questions from last week really helped you to identify who you are and who are those people that need what you have. And then how do you deliver that? Where are they? Where do you find them? And all those specific things that come to play. So in terms of value, I think a few questions that might help you identify the value that you'll bring above and beyond just asking yourself, like, what value do I bring to my ideal client? Because that's a good question, and it might not be specific enough. Would be like, will you be the most knowledgeable agent in your market in a specific area? Maybe it's hyper local, maybe it's a niche that you have. How will you be? And do you intend to be the most knowledgeable agent? And what does that mean? And what knowledge specifically? Because that's going to help you niche down. And again, asking yourself the question about, like, what knowledge did I bring to the people that I've worked with in the past? Why did they come to me? Is going to help you answer some of these questions. You know, can you and are you willing to provide the most consistent and desirable information to a group of people? It could be a geographical farm. It could be your sphere of influence. It could be your local community. Again, if you're a hyper local agent, it could be to people that are going through a divorce. It could be, you know, to people who are in a short sale situation. It could be to people purchasing new construction. Remember, again, you can niche it down to something, but you have to commit to and figure out how you can provide the most consistent and desirable information to that group of people. So where are you going to find that? What does that look like? What would that plan be? Which actually brings you into the next question is, well, are you willing to then develop a marketing plan that helps, you know, this value come into fruition to people, sellers and or buyers, right? Remember, buyers and sellers want the same thing. Sellers want an agent to help them sell their home in the least amount of time for the most amount of money with the least amount of hassle. Buyers want to be able to purchase a home in the least amount of time for the least amount of money in the least amount of hassles. And so just remember that that's the general, rule of thumb, if you will, of what people want when they're buyers and sellers, but that's general. You need to then be able to niche it down to the people that you actually find as your ideal client. What do they specifically need in addition to those things? And so how do you go all in with social media to become recognized as that leader in that niche or in that local market who is going to bring the most consistent and desirable information to a group of people? And it shouldn't just be social media. I think you should be doing print marketing. I think you should be, sponsoring things. You should be going to networking events. You should be doing all of those things to put you in the position to be seen as the most knowledgeable, consistent agent that brings the most desirable information, helps people to achieve their goals, and becomes recognized as the leader in their market. And then is there video content that you can create? And, I read something the other day, Haley, just the other day, about how video content is not going backwards in any way, shape, and form. In fact, there's a direct link between, entrepreneurs who do more video that are more successful. So it's almost like we've got to double down and do more video. It's not going away. It's actually becoming stronger. And in fact, I think because more people are doing video now, we have to actually do more of it and more consistently to kind of drown that out. And if you become recognized as a leader or something specific, a niche that you're going after, you can more easily drown out all the competition of people that are talking more generally. And that's the reason why we wanted to have this conversation with you guys about not only who is your ideal client and what do you provide and what's this marketing plan or what's this value you can provide, but really becoming known as that leader in that niche, I think is what is going to help you be able to be more successful in the months and years to come. So I mentioned the word consistency. This is probably one of the most powerful words to an entrepreneur. So Haley, tell us a little bit about that piece.
Yeah. So the next thing we want you guys asking yourself is really about consistency. Are you being consistent? Are you showing up consistently? What does that mean? Well, consistency, as we know, it really is the key to success in real estate or really in any business that you own, right? We know that consistency leads to building trust and confidence over time. It also breeds relationships. And if you're a real estate agent, relationships and referral and repeat business, that is the lifeblood of your business, right?
Yeah.
So there are a few areas where you absolutely want to focus on being consistent in building leads and opportunities. That's going to be in your follow-up and your prospecting, right? We've talked about this so many times, Cari, having a CRM to help remind you, because your business should not be on paper. It should be in a system or a process that's going to help you remember, right? Because even the most skilled human being has trouble remembering to follow up, right? We just get overwhelmed, and that's okay. So follow up is very important. Are you being consistent in your monthly or weekly newsletter? Now, not every single agent has a newsletter, and that's okay. But are you consistently following up in an email? It could be like a quarterly email campaign that you have. It could be a newsletter.
Yeah.
It could be social media posting, which brings me to my third point, the quality content in your social media. Okay. If you are not a social media expert, you don't have to be. There's so many resources and tools out there that can help you with content for social media. You don't have to create it all on your own. There are definitely resources and tools to help you to remain consistent. And here's something fun and exciting. You don't have to post every day. You can actually, there are programs out there that can schedule your posts to post for you every day, right? Okay. And then in your availability for your clients, are you consistently available for them? I'm not saying do not have boundaries, but we want to make sure that we're consistent and that we set the expectation that we are available to our clients during certain times.
Yeah.
So that is definitely different ways and different strategies to be consistent, but being consistent and showing up consistently is really going to impact your business in a positive way.
Yeah. I mean, people do things and try things once in a while, but they get no traction, and it has nothing to really do with what they're doing. It's the fact that they just weren't able to do it consistently. So start small to go big, do something every single day, every single week, and just find out what those priorities are. And if you can definitely gain some consistency in your business or your life, you're going to see results, which is awesome.
I just want to say one more thing about consistency. You will notice that there are things that you don't like to do and things that you really enjoy doing. If what you're doing really brings you a lot of joy and you're consistently doing that thing, just consistently do that one thing. You don't have to do every single thing, the marketing and the social media and open houses. And, you don't have to build all of these things. I would say pick 2 or 3 things that you will stay consistent at.
Yes.
And to focus on those things, focus on your strengths. Right?
Yeah.
Because it will come easy for you to remain consistent in them. If you're procrastinating on something or it doesn't bring you joy, you just really don't like doing it, or you're not good at it, stop focusing on your weaknesses. Focus on what your strengths are, and then you will consistently do them because it comes easy to you.
Absolutely. Absolutely. We overthink it sometimes, and that is a very good tip. The next one is growth. And if you watch anything that Haley and I do, we talk all about, business success through personal growth, because your business can only grow to the extent that you do as a human being. In fact, you've probably heard the saying, if your business is not growing, then it's dying, right? Sounds a little dramatic, but it is true, because really there's nothing that stays in one place. It's either moving forward or it's moving backwards. So if your business isn't moving forward, it is moving backwards, whether you like it or not. And you have to personally grow because otherwise you are the limit to your business, particularly as an entrepreneur, if you happen to be an entrepreneur. But really, even if you're not, if you work in a salaried position, but you're unwilling to grow yourself as a human being, you're going to cap your limitations for growth in your career, because you have to grow in order for your opportunities in career and business to grow. So, we think that you should have a life plan alongside your business plan. And, so do you have a systematic plan for growth in your personal life? As you move into the new year, what are those priorities? And what is that plan and how will you execute on it? So is there a daily schedule that improves your health, your mental and physical health, your skills, of course, in your career or your industry? That's important. Your self-leadership skills, your spiritual growth, your emotional development. I talk a lot about, and so does Haley, IQ versus EQ, because it's a big, big deal. You have to understand the way your mind works, and you have to develop emotional fitness, and you have to be able to understand how to move forward, even though your brain is going to help try to sabotage that. That is a big, big part of being able to grow a business. So you've got to make that a plan, and hopefully this will be a good reminder for you to do so. There is a great book by Michael Hyatt called Living Forward. I highly recommend that book at the end of the year. So if you're looking to build a life around and alongside a good business, it helps you to develop a life plan alongside a business plan. And it tells you why that's so important. If you're a leader of any people, you should read that book.
Yeah, 100%. I love that. So jumping into the next topic really that you should be focusing on or asking yourself in your business is, how do you make people feel? So I really like to define this or explain it in an analogy that Susan Scott, the author of Fierce Conversations and Fierce Leadership, mentioned. She describes how we make people feel as awake. And not as in awake as in you're not sleeping, but awake as in when you're at the lake. And Cari, I'm sure you know or can relate to this because you live right next to a lake. But if you think about when you're on the lake, there are different areas of the lake that say a no wake zone. Because what happens if you're in a fishing boat and it's nice and calm and someone comes with their jet ski and they like zoom in on the water and they leave the water like all wavy and they leave what's called a wake. And there's like all this disruption and, everyone's pissed off. Like, this is a no wake zone. You're not supposed to do that. Okay. How are you showing up in your life, and how are you making people feel when you're around? Are you leaving them feeling energized, happier? Are you, what is your presence leaving behind? Each conversation, each meeting that you have with a client or people in your personal life, you should be making them feel more empowered. You should be leaving them feeling like that they can trust you and that they have confidence in you, right?
Yeah.
Because the way that you make people feel will determine whether they want to do business with you and if they recommend you to people that they know, right? So we always want to be thinking about, how are we making people feel? Are we leaving that weight, right? That's like leaving people disgruntled and pissed off and like sucking energy from them. No, we don't want to be doing that. So always just be self-aware of how your presence and your energy is affecting other people.
Love that. That's not one that we necessarily put in a business plan or we wake up every day thinking about, but it is probably something that you should, set an intention and be really self-aware about throughout all of your interactions. And it could be clients, of course. It can also be people that work with you, whether they work alongside you or you lead them or you are they're an employee of yours. This is a really important one. I love that part about how do you make people feel. And that leaks into the last one, which is creating a wow experience for people. So if I were you, I would look at your business and, think of the testimonials that you received this last year or in your business in general, however many years back you want to go. Like, what did people say? What did you do that made them say, wow, that was an amazing experience? What fun things or creative things did you do that you're like, oh, that was really, I didn't know that was going to make such a great impact on the people, but it did. Again, this is all about self-reflection and then creating a plan moving forward. So we all know that when you see a great movie or you go to a great restaurant or you go to an awesome new place in town, that you really got great service and maybe the food or the movie or the whatever it was that you were purchasing was amazing. Like, you cannot wait to go share that with other people. You want to tell people to go try it because you enjoyed yourself so much and it was such a great experience. So service beyond expectation is what we need to strive for in any industry, if we're an entrepreneur or not, in whatever role we play. Service beyond expectation. And that's basically creating these wow moments for our clients. And so, you have to find those opportunities to basically go above what people expect and get them to be like, wow, that was amazing that you did that. Thank you so much. You thought of everything, or that little touch made all the difference, or we weren't expecting that. Right. And so when you can find as many of those opportunities, that's when the accomplishments that you're having will literally compound in a big, big way. So how do you provide the service to your clients? How do you find those little wow moments that will make your business grow like wildfire? Because it can happen. You just need to figure out what is that for you, because we all have a different personality. We all are creative in our own way. We all think of things differently. And so you need to think of like, where are those opportunities? Where could I add a little bit of extra on here that would exceed an expectation, that would make somebody go, wow, that was not expected, but that was awesome. Right. Look at your process and see if you can just do one little thing differently in the new year than you did this year. That could create more of that. And that's going to be a huge part of just making that 1% change in your business plan that can make all the difference.
Yeah, 100%.
So hopefully those are some good tips and self-reflection conversations for you to have with yourself about your business. And as always, let us know if you want to hear about some more things, or if you have feedback on this. If you do something that you think would be valuable for other people, go ahead and just post below on this live stream, or send us a message. And we help people put these business plans in place and pick some strategies and execute on those, of course, in our coaching. So if that's something that you feel like you really need to make sure that you hold yourself accountable in the new year, please reach out to Haley and I. And as always, check us out on YouTube.
Yeah.
We'll talk with Cari and Haley. Thanks, you guys.
All right.
We'll see you back
see you next week.
Tuesday. Bye.